Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the 6th episode of the MGM Design Digital Media Strategy interview session. We are doing a series of interviews with some of my top clients with new websites and business leaders and industry leaders, and I'm really excited to have with us today one of my favorite clients. We just redesigned her website, and she's got a lot of tremendous things to share with us today. But I want to be very respectful of your time and her time and our time together. So we're going to jump straight into it. And with that, I am going to welcome Marisol Kelland from GCE, Gutierrez, Canales Engineering. And hello and welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm really excited about your new website. I'm really excited about several things that you've kind of been recognized with lately. But if you wouldn't mind, start off by introducing yourself, GCE, and kind of like what you guys do as a profession, as a company.
Sure. So my name is Marisol Kelland, and I'm a civil engineer. My background is in civil engineering. I'm a licensed contractor as well. So we have kind of a company that offers both engineering and construction, and a lot of times those kind of go hand in hand depending on the projects that we work on. GCE was established in 2002 to try to target the military work, because there's a lot of military work going on at the time, and there still is. It's never stopped. And so we wanted to tap that market, and we got into the military side of things and quickly learned that we needed to really get out and meet more people and network and stuff like that. So, it's been a really great experience, and having the website that we just formed, that we just updated, really has always been it's gone hand in hand in helping us to be successful. So.
That's much appreciated, since I am your web developer. Talk to me a little bit about you were recently recognized in the Yuma Sun newspaper as women in construction. 6 people were recognized in our community, and you were interviewed for that. How did that come about, and what are your thoughts on this article series?
Yeah, so I was contacted by the paper because obviously I'm a woman in construction, but I think they were trying to target just women in general, being in an industry that's male dominated. So that was kind of the focus of it. She basically wanted to know how I got into the field and how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. And I basically explained in the article that I really got my foot in the door because of my engineering background. I was able to start doing design build type of projects. So that kind of opened the door to be able to do construction. And so I slowly started over the years purchasing equipment and trying to get to a point where I'm competitive. And at this point, and most recently, actually this year, is the year that we've really gone out and started bidding a lot more construction work than we have done in the past, because I finally got the equipment that I needed to put in place, the people in place, and so it's been really great.
I'm going to put up a little banner here that just kind of has your full name and business name and all of that. And I'll also run the website across the bottom here, gce-pc.com, so that people can go and check that out. So we were talking about that interview, which I thought was fascinating. And one of the things that really struck me as I was helping you rebuild the website and sort of rebrand your online image is how you've been able to grow into having offices all across the nation, doing jobs everywhere from Alaska to Ohio to California, of course here in Arizona, and to be able to infiltrate these government military contracts. What's that process been like, and what was it like to go from a Yuma, Arizona-based business it's not a short amount of time, but in a seemingly short amount of time, be able to grow to such a successful level?
Yeah, it's such a small world, especially in the environmental engineering market, which is another service that we provide, basically civil engineering, environmental engineering, and construction. So in the environmental engineering side of things, it's really a small world. Southern California has many different military bases, And so what I started doing was going to Society of American Military Engineering meetings in San Diego, and would travel quite often to these meetings to try to network and meet with people to try to see what's going on, how can we get into these bases. And that was really key to our success, because that enabled us to meet some really important people and really network with some key firms that we ended up teaming with to do some work for the NAFAC. And so that's where it kind of opened the door for us. We got our first contract, was a $20 million NAFAC contract in the remediation side of things for environmental engineering. And that really was that started our success, was really that one contract. And that was through going to San Diego, having meetings, and really trying to expand, beyond Yuma, which I love Yuma and this is my home, but we really needed to expand our area of service. And so we've expanded it in San Diego. We've done a lot of work in that area. But that's really what opened the door, was getting that contract with the Navy, and that enabled us to then obtain lots more other work in both civil and environmental. And again, that later on opened the door for us to be able to go into the construction market.
When you finalized that first $20 million contract with the U.S. Navy, did you just like have chills and sort of like almost wonder if it was real? Was it that exciting?
Yeah, when we were awarded that contract, it took so much work. First of all, wait, let me connect my computer before it dies. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I should have had it connected. It was really a game changer for us. We got that contract, and it took so much work. It took interviews. It took lots of traveling back and forth. And I had small children, so that was even made it even harder. But it was so worth it, because we interviewed, we work with these people, and we have relationships now that were formed way back then, because these contracts last over a period of years. And so when we were awarded that contract, I still have the relationships with those people now, and we're still getting awards and contracts through that very first relationship. And so it just really starts building on each other. And so that enabled me to open an office in San Diego as well. And so now I just go back and forth between those offices and have great people over there that handle that office. And so it's just been great. It was really a life changer when we won that contract, and were able to just meet so many more people through that contract.
Well, congratulations. And I know that was kind of step one, and now you've got all this tremendous growth. So it's very exciting, and it's fun to be a small piece of that as your digital media guy, website guy. And from that perspective, can you share a little bit about the importance of having a professional? So one of my things I like to say to people is, my job is to make you look as good online, to make you look as professional as you are in real life online, or better sometimes, as you are in real life. And so the importance of being able to say, oh yeah, my website, gcepc.com, it represents me professionally online. And in those circles, being able to have a website that you're proud of.
Yeah, I mean, that is so important, because the first step is meeting people. But the second step, and such a critical step, is when you leave the room and when you're not with those people anymore, they're going to look you up, and they're going to look up your website. I mean, that is just the natural thing people do. I couldn't imagine having a business without a website. It really makes your business legitimate. And if you keep it up to date, like we worked really hard last year to try to update it, because you tend to lose track, or you get busy and you don't update your website. And it is so important. We put in there more of our current projects, exactly what disciplines we offer, what work we offer, and that's impressive to people. So it's meeting the people, but then they got to know your name to look you up. So then they look you up, and when they see a good website, it's been really key, because then they can, oh, they do this as well. Oh yeah, maybe I'll call them. And so it's endless, really, advertising, once you develop those relationships and meet those people, to really have them start looking at you a little closer. And they do. They'll look up your website and see what you offer and see how you're doing. And so it's been such a key part of our clients knowing us and knowing what we do, at least getting our foot in the door with them. So it's been key for sure.
I think that nails it. And I've got your web address scrolling along the bottom so people can go look at that. But just to share live, part of the system that we built is this robust ability for your team to be able to go in and continuously add projects and add different things that you're working on. And I think to play off of what you just said, it makes such a difference because when someone hears about you and they go look at your website, if they see a project portfolio that's like house additions and bathroom remodels and kitchen remodels, they're going to perceive one thing. When they go in and they see runways, military clients, infrastructure projects for cities, and those types of things, they get a completely different perception. And in both cases, in engineering or construction is the overall umbrella. But having a professional website and an up-to-date project portfolio is that critical thing that would make the difference between whether or not you get that phone call, that initial lead, or whether or not you get the appropriate lead for the type of client and type of business you want to be doing. So
yeah, absolutely. It's also been a great way to categorize the projects that every once in a while you have to do a proposal and you have to list some of the experience that you have. And so it's really been a great way for us to kind of have it all together in one spot. So whenever we finish a project, we'll do a project description and we'll throw it on there. And it's a way to not only to keep our website up to date, but also for us to grab from when we're doing proposals and write-ups and things like that. So it's been helpful in many ways.
That is a brilliant thought right there that I would challenge any of my clients or any business person out there to do that. So when you finish something that you're proud of course, update your website. Of course, update your project portfolio like you just said that you did. But then maybe even go that next step. That's amazing content, valuable content to put on your socials, to do a little blog about, to do a live video about. So they're in the marketing world, there's this whole trend of how to repurpose content. Because content generation is usually the big task of sharing something of value. And so you just nailed it. When you take that time to write a project name, project description, the details of the photos, reuse that in so many different places to maximize the effort of doing it to begin with. So excellent tidbit. Let's see here. What do you do to stay current with your industry and your marketing trends? You talked about the networking, which I think is golden. Any other things that you do to stay on the latest and greatest of marketing and getting out in front of your ideal client?
Well, one of the things I just started as well was like a LinkedIn account. So, I mean, I'm probably way behind the eight ball on that. Like I didn't have one for a very long time. And so we created a LinkedIn account last year to try to get us up to date. You tend to get so busy and working and you don't end up paying attention to those particular things. So one of the things that's been key to us as well is to have a marketing person. I know that a lot of times people can't either afford or have the right person to do that. But our marketing person has been key to be able to come up with graphics and to really add that professional touch to the different things that we do in our proposals and our website. And she was key to kind of, she pulls pictures together and looks at them from a different perspective. I'll have some boring picture, but she'll choose a different one that captures something else. And so that's really, a marketing person has kind of that artistic ability to be able to pick things out, to make things look nice. So, I mean, it's been key to us to have a marketing person to help us with our website, LinkedIn account, and really our proposals. I mean, that's their main job and focus is to help us with our proposals. So.
And I would say, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here. If you are maybe thinking, I can't afford a marketing person, you can always hire someone like me at MGM Design, and then you can pay us just however much you need us every month. So
that's perfect, because then you don't need to have someone full time. You could just be at intervals when you need it. So yeah.
But I am so appreciative that you value that effort, and to the point where you've even hired someone that I work with at this point, but that you understand that value, and that's you recognize that is one of the keys to your success. So kind of on that same trend, the next question I'd like to ask you is, what advice would you give to someone that's starting out in business today?
I would say to really use your resources. One of the things that we started our company with was with the SBA, the Small Business Administration. I mean, they were really helpful in kind of helping guide us on, and they had, you know, great little webinars and things. You know, when you're starting up a new business, you want to know, okay, what kind of business should it be? A corporation, LLC? All those things can be daunting, like all the different types of businesses and stuff. But I mean, I think using your resources like the SBA, that's free. And then eventually finding a great accountant and a great attorney to help make sure that you're, you know, meeting all your obligations, that you're, you know, doing everything the right way. I mean, a lot of companies start with QuickBooks. You know, we quickly changed over to Deltek, a different accounting system. So I would say use your resources and really get the programs that are going to be most beneficial to your company when it comes to accounting. I think that is key, because that helps you get reporting and to see how you're doing, helps you to forecast and see, you know, what your future billings are, how each project is going, you know, what's profitable, what's not. It helps kind of guide you to really target the parts of your business that are more profitable. So it's just key to have a great accounting system.
What I'm hearing there is consistent with a lot of the other business leaders that I've interviewed, which is, if I may paraphrase what you just said, is hiring experts in their field to help you so that you can focus on what you're an expert in to grow your business. And so by having a great accountant, or having a great lawyer, or having a great other person, marketing person, or whatever it might be, it makes you successful because you have their expertise, but it also gives you the gift of your time that allows you to make your own business successful, even to a greater extent.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as an owner, I think you have to focus on the big picture of your company and where you want it to go. And if you get too caught up in the details of, because that's very detailed, all those things are very detailed, and you know, you start to think, oh, I got to know about all this and this and this. Well, you don't. You can just have great people that you can call, that you can learn from, and have them help you with all those details, so you can focus on, you know, where you want your company to go and grow.
That also reminds me of the old adage that says everything has a price and everything has a cost. And so you might save a little bit of money or on the price side, but what did that cost you in time or mistake or having to do something twice? And so I love an opportunity to think about and analyze price versus cost, and understanding value associated with that. You shared so many amazing kind of secrets already, but one of the questions that I had on my list to ask you is, what would you say in response to the question, what is the secret to your success?
I would say the secret to my success is relationships. Developing relationships with people. I mean, they want to work with you, not because you have, you know, you offer this or you offer that. They want to work with you because they got to know you, and they gained the confidence through a conversation with you. That is how you gain work. They want to work with you. And that's not just me. That's a great staff of people that meet people in the community, and they have those relationships. That's just so important. To form those good relationships, to get out there and to not look at it like, oh, it's a waste of time. I may not be working on a billable project when I travel to San Diego to go to an SAME meeting, or here, you know, in Yuma, if I'm, you know, joining different things. It's not a waste of time, because you're meeting people that eventually you're going to end up working with, hopefully. You know, as you network, those relationships is definitely key and the absolute most important part of our business. When we landed our first huge contract, that was through a relationship that was built that way. We would have never won that contract if we hadn't taken the time to go meet with the different people we've met with. So absolutely, relationships and developing great relationships is definitely key.
I had no idea that you were going to say that as your answer, but I love that answer and agree wholeheartedly with that answer. And when I go into a business relationship with a client, and sometimes they ask, well, how long do I need this? Or, oh, that's a monthly type of thing. It's not just a one-time build your website. And it's occurred to me that when I start working with a client, my intention is to work with them for life. I say it's a relationship, but I just expect that we're going to be working together forever. And that is relationship. That's not a sale. And so I think from your heart, from our hearts as business owners, if we operate with that as our primary motivation to help others and build a relationship that's long term, it's the secret to success. You nailed it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so I did read, of course, the article in the newspaper, and there was a quote that you put in there that I really enjoyed. But my question for you is going to be, like, typically I ask people, is there a one-liner or a quote that that you kind of are thinking about lately, or live by, or something like that? So I guess I'll first let you go and ask you, is there a quote or a one-liner that you find impactful, or that maybe you have on the wall, or maybe you tell your customers and employees? And then I'll share the one that I was struck with from your interview, if you don't use that one right out here.
Well, yeah, I think that coming from a background, female engineer, construction, it's not a typical, women don't typically come from that. My son is currently studying engineering right now, and there's still just one girl in the class or two girls in the class at the most. And so it hasn't changed in 25 years. It's still the way it is. And so when I guess that the quote that you're referring to was from the paper, to be prepared to work twice as hard, but to enjoy the ride, that to me really hits home, because when I started out in this career, I did feel like I had to work twice as hard as my male counterpart, but I didn't get, it didn't make me mad. It just made me feel like, okay, I got to work twice as hard. And that's just a fact. You have to work twice as hard to leave the same impression that my male counterpart could leave. And so I was prepared to do that. I wasn't afraid of that. And so you can't be afraid of hard work. And so I wasn't. And so I just decided to just enjoy that part of it and enjoy the challenge that it was to really create a company that would be able to stand up on its own without having to, I guess the point is, be prepared to work twice as hard. And it's not if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to love what you're doing. So it's not work, it's enjoyable. So enjoying the ride is a huge part of it, because you're going to naturally work harder if you're enjoying what you're doing. So, and I always have. I love what I do. I love my career choice. I have loved it from the beginning. And then getting into construction has been kind of the icing on the cake, here in the later part of my career, because I can actually see things that I've designed go up, or just things that, working with our construction crews and getting things scheduled and done. I mean, it's been awesome. So yeah, I mean, that the quote you were referring to just really hits it home for me, because it's work, but it's enjoyable. So
first of all, congratulations on having a successful family and one of your sons to follow in your footsteps. What an honor. So congratulations there.
Thank you.
And I totally understood the context of your quote. My wife is arguably more successful than I am in several ways. My 14-year-old daughter is brilliant and beautiful and on a total path of success as well. So I understand the female perspective, because I'm the minority in my house. And, however, I read that quote and I immediately applied it to my own thinking and to all small businesses out there, and all businesses that are starting up, or people that are maybe on the edge of, I'm going to take that leap and start my own business. And I think that quote, plan to work twice as hard to prove yourself, but never forget to enjoy the journey. It applies across the board, because It's an amazing journey to be a business owner, but don't think it's easy. You will work twice as hard, but who cares if you're enjoying the journey? You will be successful. If you're willing to put in the work, I believe you will be successful. So just maybe understand that your quote had a little bit greater impact than the initial thought process, but brilliant altogether.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, well, we're 20. Here it happened again. I tried to do these in 15. We're at 25 minutes. So I'll wrap up with one final question. Are there any gold nuggets that you'd like to share, or anything that I neglected to ask that you would like to share with anyone watching and viewing?
Just in closing, I mean, I know that this is really about, you know, how has our digital marketing helped our business. And for any business that's considering a website, it's not as hard as it seems, and to put one together. And it's so critical to really make your business legitimate. So for anyone wanting to start up a business, the website really has to be one of the first steps as well. Create your business, create a website, even if it's just one page, you know, get it on there, and then you can develop as you go throughout the years in your growth. So, and that's the fun part. So.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Thank you for your time today. And with that, we'll end the broadcast, and I wish everyone a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. And thanks again for sharing all this wonderful information.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.